England Patriots, they got Will Campbell. I think I heard you say earlier you're not in love with him. 4th overall, left tackle. But it's what they did in the 2nd round that's gotten some attention. According to Patriots insider Phil Perry, Travion Henderson out of Ohio State was the most impactful selection for the Patriots.
He's a passing game player. He's going to be a threat in the passing game. He's going to be an easy outlet for Drake May. And he's the kind of player where as soon as he touches it, he's a threat to score. Not only that, but he is a beast in pass protection. And so, again, where you're trying to surround your quarterback with people that are going to keep him safe and make him look better than he might be at times, Travion Henderson is exactly the way to go. So I really like that they went and they got him after protecting him in the 1st round, get him a weapon in the 2nd round. He was one of the best in this year's draft.
Okay, I'm going to say I know he went in the 2nd round, and I know he played at Ohio State. I think he is the most underrated player that out of the 1st round in the draft, I think he's going to be a star.
Ooh.
The other back who people like, I just don't see, I don't think he's that dynamic. I think there are certain players that you watch. And I think Ashton Genty had this when I watched them against Oregon. I think there are certain players you watch at college football, and Ohio State plays big-time teams. They look different on TV. They've got a different gear. I think he's going to walk in and be 1,000-yard back as a rookie, be an unbelievable blocker in the backfield. I think this kid is, I think he looks a lot like Jahmyr Gibbs, but a better I think he looks a lot like, and Lions got heat for drafting him. Gibbs has been an unbelievable hit. I think this kid is special.
So Henderson, remember, arrived at Ohio State with some Heisman hype. Like, this guy's that good.
Yes.
Listen, I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a big factor. I just wonder, Colin, how easy is it to defend the Buckeyes when they've got 2 first-round receivers, Jeremiah Smith, the freshman, and then Ibuka, right? And then you've got 2 great running backs. Like, they were extremely difficult to defend, so Henderson just totally dominated. Is he going to be that good in the pros? You think he'll...
Okay. That's missing the forest for the trees here. Let's talk about this. Because Colin actually brings up a great point in terms of, jumping off the screen. I talk about that a lot, that certain players, and I think, especially when you're talking about like a running back in college, for the most part, like you need to just erupt off of the screen because you should be bigger, faster, stronger than majority of the guys that you're going after if you're going to be special in the NFL. And Henderson obviously is electric. It's a shame I can't really show you the college highlights because of the NCAA and stuff like that. But it's electric. I think it's a great draft pick. I love what the Patriots did. But this idea where you're like, oh, well, he was able to be dominant because of all the weapons of this, that, and the third. Now, listen, you can say that's why maybe some of his stats or some of the successes that he had were because of that. That's technically fair, right? Like, we can look at Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley feasted with the Philadelphia Eagles, and you can say, well, it was so much harder. He had a better O-line. You had to deal with AJ and Jalen and Devontae, and that's all true. But it doesn't mean that Saquon Barkley is not a beast. If anything, you got to see Henderson play in a situation that you're hoping that the Patriots build. Do you want to try to pretend that these running backs or any player has to just be dominant and a beast no matter what the situation is? Because that just doesn't really exist. That seems to always be this fool's errand. And again, if you're the Patriots, you're looking at it through the lens of like, well, we're looking to building an awesome team. We want to have a great O-line. We want to have multiple great wide receivers. We expect our quarterback to be, amazing in the passing game, which then opens up the run game, et cetera, et cetera. Vrabel is there. We're expecting him to really get this defense to be physical, tough, and gritty, giving us extra possessions, giving us good field position, dominating the clock, relying on our run game to again, dominate the clock. So it's just like, yeah, if you're talking about in this like isolated situation, then sure, maybe bringing up like a great roster, as a thing, but like, I don't know. When you actually just, that's why it's important, I find, to oftentimes really not, like, it's so funny because it really is a balance between looking at the whole picture, like everything as a whole, the whole career, the whole season, the whole game, you know? But sometimes it's also really beneficial to just not look at that at all and just be like, what do I see today? What do I see in this moment? And I do that a lot because I take so much notes when I'm watching these games. And sometimes I'm always going back and forth between being like, I need big picture, I need small picture, big picture, small picture. But one of my favorite exercises to do is I'm just trying to watch this game through like beginner's eyes. I don't know who any of these players are. I don't know. I do that with Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, like anyone. I go, I don't know who you are. I don't care that you accomplished anything. I don't care about your MVPs, Super Bowls. None of this matters. I'm just focused on what do you look like today. That is how I'm evaluating this moment right now. And then you kind of in a lot of ways you get a clearer picture. You get a more zoomed in picture. And again, sometimes you got to pull back. That's why it's not all or nothing here. But that's when you can kind of run into the trap that what J-Mac is saying here, where you're, yeah, but he was on such a great team, and can you really expect him to be like this and that? And it's like, you see how explosive he is. You see how he can be like just like a wrecker. You see him being a monster and a beast. It doesn't matter who else is on his team. Again, if you want to say that some of his stats are juiced up because of like the team that he was on, that's fine. That's fair game. Technically, that's the same thing with Saquon Barkley. If you think Saquon Barkley is breaking the record for most rushing yards, including the playoffs in a single season, if you think he's getting that no matter where he plays, like, it's just not true, obviously. You know, if he was the running back for the Houston Texans, the New York Giants, I'm trying to just name random teams, walk right into that one. The New York Giants, like, he's not getting it. That in no way is a negative on Saquon Barkley at all. We know that. We've seen that. Bro was a major piece for winning the Super Bowl. Major piece. No one could argue that. No one. So you always got to know when you have to zoom in, zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you get it wrong. Sometimes you zoom in when you need to zoom out. And sometimes you zoom out when you need to zoom in. And this is one of those situations where it's like, actually don't zoom out. Just zoom in and just, it's like, tell me what you see. This is going to sound so cheesy, but it's like, tell me what you feel when you're watching it. And so, yeah, you can see it. You can see it. You don't have to overthink it beyond that. Now, if you're trying to draft someone like top 5 overall, 6'10", right, like a Genti, you zoom in and you zoom out, especially, right? Then you really are kind of like, okay, this guy was explosive, was amazing, and a beast. I really have to look from every single angle. We're drafting him like top 5 overall, top 6, whatever it may be. Is this guy truly going to be transcendent? Did he benefit from playing, weaker games, et cetera, et cetera? Like, and you still are doing that to all the players to a degree. But when we're just kind of having these casual conversations like this, I don't know. It seems a little like, too much, quite frankly. And here, I got PFF's ratings. New England Patriots, an A. And I'll get to Campbell in a second, but since we're kind of sticking with Henderson. Henderson is an explosive back. That's exactly what I just said. And I did not read this before, by the way. 88th percentile or higher in the 40-yard dash, vertical jump, and broad jump, who should bring some big playability to the Patriots backfield. He's one of 6 running backs in the Power 4 with 100 plus carries and at least 10 yards since 2021. With 100 plus carries of at least 10 yards since 2021. Henderson profiles as nice compliment. Let me see here. I want to see. Hold on. Okay, never mind. All right, so now I just want to jump back to Campbell, though. After bolstering the defense in free agency, priority number 1 for Mike Vrabel and company in the 2025 NFL Draft needed to be building up the offense around Drake May. And this is a good start. Campbell might not have ideal length for the position, but he produced at a high level for 3 years in the SEC, ranking in the 95th percentile of FBS tackles and PFF pass blocking grade on true pass sets since 2022. So again, right? They went offense, 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 defense, defense, defense. For their first like 5 or so picks. And I love it. I really, really do. I always find it so interesting to see how a team goes after a draft and building a team. And it's always different because you got to know what you're starting off with, obviously. But when you bring in a known defensive coach, a known offensive coach, and you have Drake May, and, you have the confidence that Mike Vrabel can look at the defense, diagnose the defense, understand what he has there, not overcompensate, not have the fear that, hey, the defense, like, I got to prove to everyone, like, that I can control this defense. Like, that's my side of the ball. I got to get this right. Having the understanding of, like, I got the defense. I know what I'm doing here. We got to go. We got to boost this offense big time. Like, we already got some nice pieces on defense. And yeah, we always got to improve and grow. But, like, we got this young quarterback. What is he, like 20? I think he was like 21. So what is he going to be, 22 now? Yeah, 22 years old. I mean, he's a child. And now you're giving him the coordinator and the pieces to support him, to truly support him on the field in terms of his side of the ball, as well as Mike Vrabel's defense. That should also support him. That should also put him in a better position to succeed. So I'm super high on the Patriots. There's a few teams that I'm really kind of like just skyrocketing from the way how I'm looking at it. And I'm going to miss probably some teams. I can't remember all off the top of my head, but the Patriots are one of them. The Bears, the Raiders. I think the Raiders are coming, and I got to think about it. I shouldn't have started listing teams because then I'm going to forget names, but the Patriots are up there. I see the Patriots making a full 180. I'm excited for what they can accomplish. I think if they had to go up against anyone but Josh Allen, they could. I mean, like, it kind of like what happened with the Commanders, where it's like the Commanders would have won the division if it wasn't for the Eagles, who then went on to win the Super Bowl. And of course, the Patriots, again, whether you want to admit it or not, Josh Allen's a monster. Josh Allen's a beast. That team, as long as they're healthy, is always going to be a team that you have to find a way through, which is not going to be easy. But outside of that, it was like, you know, if the Bills were just kind of average or had like a pretty good quarterback, a pretty good team, it's just like, I'd be picking the Patriots to win the division, you know, over the Dolphins, certainly over the Jets. And so I just, they're trending high, right? Like, they are 100% going in the right direction. It feels like they finally now can not only turn the page, but just kind of put away the book on Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Like, it's over. It's done. And I'm bringing in Mike Vrabel was always the smart move. And getting a young quarterback in Drake May. And I think the other thing about Drake May is that because of the way how the season unfolded last year, I think it was a little bit messy. I think it was messy from a coaching perspective, also like roster perspective as well, in terms of what he had to work with offensively. I don't know how much development was really able to take place throughout that season. So I'm still anticipating plenty of ups and downs. I really see this second year as an extension of his rookie season, because he did not have the stability and the coaching staff that like that like Bo Nix had, that like, you know, Jaden Daniels had. So I'm not expecting him to just 100% be able to hit the ground running and just never looking back. I'm still expecting like many rookie moments for him, but it just feels as though the team is going to still be in such a better position to win, ask less of him, and be able to just, you know, move forward quite seamlessly, both offensively and defensively. So if you're a Patriots fan, you should be pumped. I said this last offseason, about this time last year, a few months going into the draft, or going into the season, I was like, Patriots fans, I'm sorry. This year is probably not going to go well for you. You're probably not going to win. And Patriot fans got upset, and I get it. And I was like, I know it's tough to say that out loud. I was like, I'm sorry. That's just my conclusion. And I said, but the following year, things will be better. The following year, I was like, it's not about this year. And I said, if anything, you can make the argument that it's better just to be really bad. And, you know, I know no one's trying to, you know, lose on purpose or anything like that. But I was like, you know, it's a silver lining. You'll get another great draft pick. You'll have a great draft. You know, and you'll be able to move forward. You were able to do that, and you were able to upgrade in coaching and coordinating. And so now you're in year 2, and it makes year 1 the whole. Honestly, it was a bad year. You know, it was, dare I say, disastrous. You know, when you hire a head coach and you fire him immediately, it means you're probably not making the best decisions. Now year 2, boom, you're in business, right? You went through the true growing pains right now. Now I feel like you're kind of in the braces stage. You know, you're getting braces. And in a year or so, you're going to come off and you're going to have a beautiful smile. And you're going to be winning big games. So I'm excited to see what the Patriots have in store, honestly. And I am excited to see what Drake May can do with a more complete, grounded, well-run, well-coached team. That I'm excited. It's so hard to judge a quarterback when they don't have that stability around them. It's impossible, honestly. It really is. I think anything short of that quarterback not being an absolute disaster is like, yeah, major positive. So, you know, already succeeded in my book so far. So this is one of the teams that I'm really excited in. And it was, and I watch all the games, and it was rough watching some of these games last year, and I was trying to get excited, trying to look for the magic in Drake May, look for the excitement, and like you could see it, but like it was just hard to get through some of those Patriots games. I was really just watching them just to get through them, just so I could be like, hooray, I watched the Patriots. And so if I need to talk about them, at least I kind of know what I'm talking about here. But like this season, I'm going to be pumped to watch the Patriots. And now watching the Patriots versus the Bills, like I'm going to be pumped. Watching even like the Patriots versus the Jets, I'm going to be like, you got the Jets fans trying to talk about Justin Fields being like, no, Justin Fields is actually really going to take over. He's as good as Jalen Hurts. He can win a Super Bowl, this, that, and the third. And I'm going to be like, it's going to be great to see Drake May in year 2 already be better off the jump. And so like, I'm going to be looking for that. I'm going to be excited for that. So I haven't been really interested in watching Patriots games in quite a long time, quite frankly, honestly, ever since, obviously Tom Brady left. Mac Jones was a little bit interesting, but come on, let's be serious here. So I'm excited. You should be too. And, I think anyone that says anything but that the Patriots had an awesome draft, you're reaching. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the New England Patriots? How do you feel about some of their key picks, like Henderson and company? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.